Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is what mindfulness is not. So as we've moved into the basics of what is mindfulness and what the benefits of mindfulness are, maybe what motivates us, one of the important distinctions to make is what mindfulness is not. And I mentioned that there was a trend between 2016 and 2019, approximately, where mindfulness was really the trendy thing to do. And for better or worse, that trend kind of ended, and you don't hear nearly as much about mindfulness today as you did, let's say, 5 or 6 years ago. And so, what are the pros and cons of that? First of all, the cons are that less people are trying out the practice than were a while ago, and so therefore you just don't hear as much about it. There's not as much information really about mindfulness, and people who haven't tried it before aren't trying it as much as they used to. And I confirmed with a friend of mine that's living in Hong Kong, where I used to live, that there's really a down flux on demand for mindfulness training. And I feel the same here in Singapore. Like, as I moved to Singapore, felt like there are already plenty of established mindfulness teachers, and the demand is going down. So that's interesting. So one of the pros of this, however, are that the people who are left tend to be those who are more dedicated to the mindfulness practice. And the other pro is that you see a lot less misinformation about it. Anytime anything's trendy, you find that a lot of people try and get their hooks in and jump on the bandwagon of that particular trend, so that they also can get kind of that acceleration that's coming from that trend. So that's the plus side. And I think that really was one of the big reasons for the drop-off of mindfulness as a trendy thing, was that, oh my goodness, it's something you actually have to work to do. It isn't a quick fix. And I think that's pretty much where to start, is that mindfulness and mindfulness practice has a lot of benefit. And you can see, like we talked about last time, what are the documented benefits of practicing mindfulness regularly. But these benefits don't come without a price. The price is that you have to, one, you have to put in the time. That itself is something that's challenging. And two, you actually have to do it, and that can be really hard. I certainly can remember back to my time beginning practice, how challenging, how long 45 minutes felt. Just felt like a never-ending amount of time to be lying and doing essentially nothing for that long. And so I think a lot of people that, even if some people didn't practice long enough to see the benefits, and therefore didn't continue the practice because of that. And two, people who have seen the benefits, their practice has fallen off because it's just hard to do. It's hard to keep up with. And, that's another reason, I think, for groups like this to exist, so that we can support each other. We can continue our practice together. I try to have new topics, or at least different topics, to keep people engaged, so that you are motivated to continue practicing, so that your continuous practice bears fruit, and that you start to see that there is real benefit to doing this. But that's the problem, is that you have to do the practice to see the results. So that's kind of piece number one, is the mindfulness trend has gone away, and it's largely because people didn't stick around to see the results, or it's just become too hard of work to continue. And as I contact back people who I started practicing with, to be honest, I don't think any of them are practicing daily anymore. I think I'm the only person out of that group, besides my teacher, of course, who is still committed to practicing mindfulness every day. So if you want to see the results, you have to do the practice. So that brings us to kind of point number 2 of what mindfulness is not. Mindfulness is not a relaxation technique, okay? And I think that's an important one to talk about here on Insight Timer, because I think the things that are the trendiest, or maybe not trendiest, the things that are the most popular here on Insight Timer are sleep stories and sleep tracks. Like Insight Timer is quite a popular app for sleeping, and meditation and relaxation are not the same thing. Your practice, your meditation may make you feel relaxed. That is a possible side effect of practicing mindfulness, but it's important to understand that this is not the goal of the practice. This is not something that we're working towards in our practice, is to be more relaxed. So sometimes, people come to practice, or come to meditate because they believe that meditation is something that's going to help me feel relaxed. Like, I'm feeling super stressed right now. What I need more than anything is just to do a meditation. I hear that, but to me this is counterintuitive, because when I meditate, most of the time what happens is that if there is something that's stressing me out, that thing becomes more evident, not less evident. And this is one of the reasons why I think one of the warnings in MBSR, as you take mindfulness-based stress reduction as a course, is your situation, by meditating, your situation may become worse or more intense before it gets better, because paying attention to things as they are in this way, it's like shining a spotlight on what's difficult. And, which brings me to point number 3. Meditation is not about passive resignation. Mindfulness is not about passive resignation and passive acceptance of what's going on. It doesn't mean we just lie back and go, this is how it is, right? And have to surrender to the fact that things are this way. I mean, things are this way, okay? This is the truth. This is the fact. This is what things are like right now. It does help to shine that spotlight on the way things are, but it doesn't mean that this is the way things have to be. So it's a way to shine a spotlight on what's challenging, what's difficult, the roadblocks we're setting up for ourselves that we may purposely be impeding our own progress and not even realizing it. It's a way for us to see that, not to lie down figuratively and accept, like, oh my goodness, this is what my life is like, and to not do anything, or to not have any plan to do anything about it. So this is something that our practice can help us with, most certainly. Mindfulness is not it's not religious. That's another misconception about it. Mindfulness, although the techniques that we use have come from Buddhist practice, the meditation techniques that we use here, focusing on the body, focusing on the breath, is something that has been commonplace in Buddhist practice, and then even before that, predating that in the Hindu practice. So this kind of technique has been around for a long time. And that's another thing when we talk about the mindfulness trend. Although it was trendy in the last few years and got a lot of publicity, these practices have been around for 2,500 years. So it's something that can be done to tune yourself, to tune into what's real, what's present, what's with you right now and give you a little bit of insight as to what's going on. And this is also something that maybe goes with, it's not relaxation, it's not passive acceptance. Another thing that it's not is it's not suppressing thoughts or emotions. And I think this is also really important to understand, which is why that pure mindfulness practice isn't necessarily what's appropriate for every single situation. It's not the quick fix. So you're feeling difficult and intense emotions, and I think one of my favorite ones to cite in this particular situation is anger. Anger is a very strong emotion that can sometimes be dealt with mindfulness practice through purely paying attention to the feelings and thoughts that surround anger, but oftentimes that pure attention isn't enough to stop us from taking some kind of harmful action. And this is where a different practice, such as compassion and loving kindness, is more appropriate. So, when we're in our mindfulness practice and we feel strong anger coming up, or strong feelings of sadness, or strong feelings of fear, the idea is not that we turn away and that we look away and that we try to escape these emotions. It is the exact opposite of that. It is, in fact, turning towards, leaning into, opening, rolling out the red carpet, welcome difficult emotion, to see and explore completely what that is about, and that this really is what our practice is about. And through that uncovering of truth and the truth of what's happening right now, we get this additional insight. And, maybe one of the most important benefits that I didn't mention last time was that increase of space between stimulus and response. I did a lot of documented clinical peer-reviewed kinds of benefits. Like the one most important benefit that I've seen in my life is that increase in space between stimulus and response. Something difficult happens and I become aware of the sensations in my body. And that leads me to explore my mind further, my thoughts, and start to see what kind of reaction I'm about to have, and then choose. Maybe that's the most important thing, is to be able to choose what it is that I'm going to do next instead of being led blindly by my emotions. So let's go ahead and get into practice. Get comfortable wherever you are. You can choose to sit up straight and tall, or if you like, you can lie down. Lying down can be more relaxing, but it may cause us to lose a bit of the alertness that we may get from sitting. So choose wisely based on how you're feeling today. If you're sitting, noticing the cushion pressing against the buttocks, or the chair, or whatever you're sitting on. If you're lying down, noticing as well that your buttocks is being supported by your carpet, your bed, your yoga mat, whatever it is you're choosing to practice on today. So just tuning our attention in to notice pressure, to notice the boundary between our body and the external world, and to see how we have ways to tell what's going on in the external world. And one of those is the sense of touch. So tuning in, focusing attention on the tiny details. Where does the pressure against the supporting surface begin? Or where is it most pressuring? And then where does it end? Where does it taper off? And then there's an area that's not being touched or not being compressed by the supporting surface. Maybe in that area you can still feel your clothing. And on your next exhale, letting go of your attention of the supporting surface at the buttocks. And then guiding attention down the left leg. Noticing the sole of the left foot, the toes of the left foot, the left heel, the left ankle, the top of the left foot, as we hold the entirety of the left foot in awareness, noticing any and all sensations you may be feeling in the left foot. And on the next exhalation, allowing the left foot to fade into the background of awareness. As we bring our attention into the left leg, noticing the left shin, the left calf muscle, the left knee, the left thigh. From hip to ankle, holding all the sensations of the left leg in awareness. So for me, one of the easiest things I notice is my left knee in contact with my cushion or the floor. But also I notice air moving through the room, touching the skin of my exposed leg. Also where my right foot is touching my left thigh and my left calf. See if you can tune into the details of your experience in the left leg. And on the next exhale, releasing the left leg from awareness. So we bring attention across the pelvic region to the right leg, down the right leg, into the right foot. Noticing the sole of the foot, the toes of the right foot, the heel, the ankle, the top of the right foot. Concentrating attention, holding our attention now in the right foot, noticing any and all sensations, significant or seemingly insignificant. If it helps, maybe you can even imagine that your breath comes into your body and flows through your nose and mouth into the lungs and then all the way down into the right foot. And then as you breathe out, breathing out from the right foot. Is that possible? Does that help? And on the next exhale, releasing attention of the right foot. As we guide our attention into the right leg, noticing the right shin, the right calf muscle, the right knee, the right thigh. So seeing if we can hold our attention from hip to ankle in the entirety of the right thigh, noticing any and all sensations, ordinary or extraordinary, whatever is happening here right now, being aware of it. Static sensations, sensations that are remaining the same, sensations that are moving, like air caressing the skin. And on the next exhale, releasing the right leg from awareness. As we gather attention towards the pelvis. So noticing the right hip, the right buttock, the left buttock, the left hip, the front side of the pelvis, the pelvic bowl region, including the genitals, the perineum, the anal region, as we hold the entirety of the pelvis, perhaps including the tailbone as well. Holding it all in awareness right now. And after the next exhale, releasing the pelvis from awareness. As we move into the torso, noticing the lower back, the mid-back, the upper back, and noticing the abdomen moving as you breathe. The chest rising and falling with the breath. The heart beating inside the chest. Digestive organs, maybe things moving around inside. So can you hold the entirety of the torso in awareness, feeling as well the clothing touching the skin? So a lot's going on here in the torso. Is it possible to open our awareness, open our minds to examining all of the physical sensations that we experience here in this region of the body? And on the next exhale, releasing the abdomen, the chest, the back, the entirety of the torso from the forefront of awareness. As we guide awareness into the left arm, noticing the palm of the hand, the back of the hand, the fingers, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, the shoulder, and the armpit as we hold the entirety of the left arm in awareness. And on the next exhale, releasing the left arm from awareness as we guide attention to the right arm. So we're going down the right arm all the way to the hand, feeling the palm, the back of the hand, the fingers, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, the shoulder, and the armpit. holding the entirety of the right arm in awareness. And now on the next exhale, releasing the right arm from awareness. As we guide attention into the neck and the head, feeling the face, the muscles in the face, the jaw, the mouth, the nose, the cheeks, the ears, the eyes, the forehead, the scalp, crown of the head, the back of the head, as we hold the entirety of the head. Right there in the forefront of awareness. What's the most prominent thing that you feel? Is it some sensation, an itch on the left earlobe? Is it the feeling of air moving through the nostrils? Is it some sensation on the crown of the head? So what is it? What do you experience right now in this moment, in the region of the face and head? And then on the next exhale, releasing the head from awareness. Just coming back to the breathing. Noticing the breathing. Wherever you feel it most apparently, most obviously today. So congratulations for having made it through our practice today. I'm going to close practice with 3 rings of the bell. All right, congratulations. Well done. You've made it through today's practice. Keep it up. Maybe now is a good time to resolve to continue practicing. Keep coming back. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday morning. If you're here in East Asia or in Australia, it's afternoon in most of the United States and South America. It's the evening in Europe, so I'm here on these days most of the time. I hope you'll come back, and if you don't come back, another thing you can do is join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle. Inside Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle, at various times throughout the day, there are group meditations, so you can come back and meditate with other people and keep up your practice so that you can start to see the benefits of this powerful practice. So thanks. Thank you, Jeff Chung, for your donation. And just a quick summary of what mindfulness is not. Mindfulness is not a relaxation technique. Mindfulness is not zoning out and just letting your mind wander to whatever you want to think about. Mindfulness is not passive resignation and just accepting things blindly as they are. Mindfulness is not suppressing or denying emotions. Mindfulness is not tied to any one particular religious tradition. So it's something that can be practiced by everybody. Yes, these are still recorded and uploaded. So the idea is that some people can't make it, and I've just kind of wanted to eliminate the fear of missing out, so that even if you can't make it to the live event, I've still recorded these video of this live practice and uploaded it to the video upload website. So on this mindfulness is not religious. Key has a comment, which is, I find that Buddhism inclusion of ethical principles helps supercharge mindfulness. Being a good person with fewer regrets and emotions like anger helps with being mindful and making meditation easier. And I'll definitely agree with that inclusion of ethical principles helps to supercharge mindfulness. But I guess I want to say that your foundation for your ethical principles doesn't need to be Buddhism. I think through my exploration, and interestingly, I think this is a pretty good segue, my re-exploration of religion and ethics and philosophy has coincided with my mindfulness practice. And I don't think that's coincidental. I think that by practicing mindfulness, my mind automatically opens up to these things, especially compassion. And there's this line I read out of Mindfulness in Plain English that's kind of one of my favorite lines is and I'll just do my best to paraphrase it, is that we can't help but be compassionate for others when we practice mindfulness, because when we look inside ourselves, we see our own human failings and our own suffering. And through that view and understanding of ourselves, it becomes glaringly obvious that this is the human condition and that we are not alone in this, and that our exploration of self naturally lends itself to understanding and a deeper understanding of others, which will guide us into these exploration of these ethical principles once again. And whether the ethical principles rise out of Buddhism or out of Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism or Islam doesn't really matter. Or maybe these ethical principles just rise out of something that's deeply human, so that we can't help but tap into, because this is our nature. This is our nature to connect with and care for other human beings. That there must be some reason that this happens. And through my exploration of mindfulness, of course, and my retreats of all but one. I'm see, my most recent retreat was a secular retreat, but all of my other retreats have been Buddhist retreats, because that's I live in Asia. Those are the easiest ways to practice, to meditate, to do mindfulness meditation for like 7 to 10 days straight is to find a Buddhist meditation center. And so I have a very deep appreciation for Buddhist tradition, but I also recognize that it's, I have a lot of gratitude for the Buddha for having discovered this method and for a way to understand ourselves and to ease our own suffering, and thereby creating doors and avenues to help ease the suffering of others just through this power of training attention. So I have a deep, deep gratitude for that. And But I don't think it's a coincidence either that all of these other traditions have come up with similar ethical guidelines, and that this resides deeply inside of us. And as we do any kind of contemplative practice, I think it's impossible not to see that, see the facts. Selfishness is harmful. Selfishness causes us to suffer more. Selflessness and compassion are ways that, caring for others, we also care for ourselves. So thanks, Key, for bringing that up. I appreciate that a lot. And thanks, everybody, for being here today. My pleasure, as always, to host these sessions. I'll be back next week as we keep working on the basics. So next Tuesday morning, Singapore time, or maybe it's your afternoon or evening on Monday. I'll see you again then. So thanks. Have a great day too. Have a great day or evening, everybody, wherever you are. And let's close our practice with a little bit of compassion for ourselves and for others, intentionally. I think this is the nice thing about ending practice this way, is that it's a way to, if we didn't in our regular mindfulness practice bring compassion to ourselves and others, this is a way to make sure that we do it each time and recognize that connection between mindfulness and compassion. So follow along with me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all sentient life here on earth and throughout the universe, known and unknown, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Bye-bye.